Okay. Um, what we want to do, we want to talk about how we can maximize our performance, how we can think different, how we can come out of the box and see the whole world. In other words, when you are looking at the painting, you will not understand the value of the painting if you are very close to that painting. Sometimes it is good to go back a few steps, then you can see the whole painting, and you can see how beautiful it is. And this is not only about the painting, this is about whole life. This is about your work. This is about the task that you have. This is about the failure that we have. This is about the success that we have. Sometimes we are so close that we do not understand that we are about to fail, or we do not understand that we are about to be very successful. Now, the first step of success, the first step of being a positive person is to make peace with ourselves. And to make peace with ourselves is that understand what is the weakness you have. Understand what is the importance or the power or the strengths that you have. And if you do not accept what you are, nobody else will accept who you are. There is a very famous quote by Steve Jobs that said, everything around you that you call it life and you are living with it has been made by people who are not smarter than you, who have been maybe from some perspective even maybe stupid. If they can do it, then it means that you can change it because it has been produced by somebody who is similar to me. I mean, why do I need to obey that person? Whereas I can do it. If I can change it, it means that I can start to influence on it, even if it exists. And if you can change it, if you can make an influence on it, it means that you can build your own thing. And then you can be the life of so many other people. In other words, you can create such an impact that rather than you following the people, people start to follow you. And this will happen if you make a peace with yourself. And when I say that you make a peace by yourself, I mean from all aspects. You have to know what is the negative thing about you, and you have to be peaceful with that. You have to understand that this is a negative thing. Because if you know what is a negative thing, then you will not do something which you know you are not good in it. It's like that you are not good in playing baseball, then you don't go to play baseball because you know you are not good in it. And let's say that you are very good in playing, doing a skiing, so obviously you go and do the skiing. So it's very important to know what you are good at and what you are not good at. And it's as important as the first one is. The next thing that I want to talk is competition. Competition is a very tricky word that many people are using. It's something that sometimes is very scary and sometimes it is very, very good. There are a few sets of questions that we are always facing with. Is that who are our competitors? When should we feel that we are winning a competition? Who is the real winner in a competition? Is it the person that 30 minutes ago got the prize? And what is the real competitions that we have in the life? In order to answer to that one, we have to get back a little bit and talk about the very, very fundamental social or psychosocial thing that we need to know. And it is this: we are all unique. You are all unique. Now, assume, I love cars, right? So assume that you have a car A, which is an SUV, and you have a car B, which is a convertible. So, can these two cars compete? Can we make a competition between these two cars?
Competition of what?
Competition of what? If you do a speed competition, with high probability the convertible one will be faster. But if you do a strength, or if you put them into the muddy place and do the competition, the SUV wins. So it's very important to understand that everything is unique. So the way that we are defining a competition very depends on the situation that we are dealing with. As you are unique, as we are unique, then it means that the only person that you can compete with and you are in the right category of doing the competition is you yesterday. You cannot compete with your friend, with your best friend. You cannot compete with your colleague. Do you know why? Because when you go home, maybe you see you have a kid and your kid is sick. Maybe you have a pet and your pet has broken your favorite vase. So you might be very upset, and because of that, your brain might be engaged in something else. So next day, you will not be exactly in the same situation as the other person is. The only person that you really can compete, and at the end of the say that, yes, I win the competition, is you yesterday. If you are better than you yesterday, it means that you won today. And if you are worse than you yesterday, then you have to start to think that why you were not as good as you were yesterday. This is like a person who is 110 kilos. Is it a fat person? 110 kilos. With high probability, if you knew that this person was 190 kilo, and then he or she became 110, you will go and congratulate this person for losing 80 kilos. But if the person was 80 kilos and now become 110, then you will go to the person and you say that now what happens is that you gain, you become fat. In other words, we are competing. We are actually putting the person in the competition with respect to what he or she was before. And this is how we have to do in whole aspects of our life. If you don't do it, do you know what will happen? You will look at some outcome, you will look at some output, and then you will start to feel very sad, right? Imagine that you have a very good friend of you, you all become 25 years old, and he buys a very expensive villa. And you are just graduating from the same university and you have nothing. This is a very bad competition because you start to feel that you are losing. But if you accept some fact that, oh, he inherited 1 million euro from his father, and you didn't get anything from your father, then it means that, okay, the situation is not very fair, so you cannot compete with that person. It's good to be motivated by seeing these examples, but you are not in the right place to do any comparison in order to do the competition. So what you have to do is that you have to compete by yourself. And in order to do it, let's introduce a very nice motto. And I really like this motto. And the motto is this: me against myself. And if you do that, you will see that it will end up that you are always becoming better and better and better. So it means that in whole your life, you are always increasing if you look at the big picture. Why? Because nobody else in the world will have the same situation as you have. Maybe you have a colleague which you are working 10 hours per day, so you have lots of common situation. But what will happen after that 10 hours? Do you have exactly the same situation when you go home? Do you get the same amount of sleep? Do you get the same amount of food? Is that same amount of food is okay for both of you? And you know what, psychologically, all of these minor things are adding up and they're affecting your behavior. And you know that it's all saying that a small crack at one point will become a breakdown. So you might not be able to see. So that's why that we do not recommend anybody to compare himself or herself with somebody else, because we are very unique. And you are very unique in a very good form that you are very unique. Imagine nobody else is like you. So you are so unique. So you have to start to evaluate yourself and give yourself a value. Now I want to tell you a story. This is a story which I really like it quite a lot. And then after that I tell you that what is the caption of this story. The story is that the young man, he fell in love with a farmer's daughter. So he just decided that to go to this girl's father and ask for his permission to get married. So he went to the man, to this farmer, and said that I want to get married. And the farmer, who was a wise man, told this young chap that you have to pass a test in order to get married with my daughter. And the test is that I will send 3 bulls to the farm, one by one, and you have to catch the tail of one of them. If you catch it, then you can get married with my daughter. The chap said that, okay, it's pretty cool. And he went to the farm, and then the man opened the first door. And a very massive bull started to come towards the guy. So it was a very angry one, and it was like the biggest that this guy has seen. So he decided that the best thing is that I just jump over the fence and let the bull go, and I will try with the other one, right? I mean, there is no need to kill myself if I want to get married with that. So the bull passed, he comes back to the field, and the man opened the second door. And in the second door, what he sees is something that the first bull was nothing, like a super massive, very angry bull which started to run towards this guy, and he just managed to jump over the fence in order to save himself. And then he said, well, I have only one more option. And the previous bull was like super big, that no other bulls can be bigger than that. So I will try with the third one. And the man opened the third one. When he opened the third one, the guy started to smile. Because what happens is, he saw the weakest possible bull in there. And the bull was started walking towards him. So when the bull come, he made his position, and then he jumped to catch the tail of the bull. And what happened? That bull didn't have a tail. So the story that I described you was actually a story of everybody's life. Your life, my life, her life, his life, everybody's life. Do you know what is that tail? Do you know what is that bull? It is the opportunity that we see in our life. And we are never realizing it. Or sometimes we realize it and we say that, okay, let it go, next one I will catch it. I have an opportunity of being, I don't know, a good person, being a better salesman, being a better accountant, being a better person, but not now, tomorrow I will do it. And you never know that tomorrow, and it seems that everything is okay. It seems that you are a very popular person and the people are